John Airy here with AinitCool.com, coming to you from the 2012 Austin Comic-Con here in Austin, Texas. Had the chance to sit in on the Eliza Dushku Q&A, where she talked about the Dollhouse, Buffy, and Angel.
By 2009, when Dollhouse premiered, there had been a little bit of a history of Whedon shows, Whedon projects not completely going all the way through multiple seasons like Buffy did. So the question is, you've heard, when you were getting ready to do this project, how did you approach it going into it? Did you kind of think, this probably isn't going to last? Or did you kind of, like, what was the whole, the process like for you?
Yeah, we were all like, we'll just, whoa. Yeah! Everyone start doing Gangnam Style right now.
I'm waiting for a vampire to come out.
That was kind of hot.
I like that.
No, we had high hopes, and, we sort of had a sense that it was a show that could go on and on. There were so many different ways we could turn it and spin it. And, we had a little trouble with our Friday night time slot. And, Joss has spoken about it pretty openly. It felt like we pitched an idea and the studio was like, yeah, totally, that's what we want too. And then as they sort of came together, it was a little different, and we reshot the pilot, and it was a little bit of a conflict of what they had hoped for and what we were trying to make. And so we were really happy that we got to finish the second season, and that we have two, chunky, solid, cool seasons of that show. And then, I had to let him go to do this little tiny, teeny movie, The Avengers. So I feel like...
So there's that.
Yeah, there's that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was curious to know, which role did you prefer playing, or actually I should say which TV series in the way of Angel versus Buffy? Which one did you prefer playing at that time?
Again, I can't say one was better than the other, because it was the same sort of journey for the character, and there was some really deep and cool stuff that I did with Angel on Buffy, and then likewise on Angel with Angel. And I don't know, they were both really, sometimes I honestly can't even remember where in the story we were, like technically what world we were in, because to me, like it so seamlessly put Faith together and took her apart and dragged her like through the streets behind a bus, and then
all right.
All that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Off a building. Yeah.
Was it more fun or more of a challenge with Dollhouse, getting to remake the character time and time again, but still trying to get back to the same idiosyncrasies and keeping it true to the baseline?
It was both, and there were times where, I wish that I had had a little more time to kind of do sort of research for different characters, or TV can move really fast, and but I asked for every single bit of it. When Joss and I had lunch together, I just was like, I just want to play a different person, like 7 different people every week, and he was like, all right. So I asked for every bit of it, and it was, sometimes it was more difficult than others. By the time we got into the second season and she was just like bouncing around left and right, I felt completely schizophrenic, but it was kind of fun.
So I'm a huge fan of the Dollhouse series, and I was really impressed by how you can portray so many different personalities that are so diverse. I was curious which one of those was actually your favorite to play.
I've never been asked that. What was that? The Dominatrix. She asked for my favorite, not your favorite. So I enjoy Rick. Fifth row. I loved the second episode. The second episode where I got to just run through the mountains and the forest in Los Angeles crest, and the bow hunting episode. And I also enjoyed the episode where I played Margaret, and I got to work with the incredible Olivia Williams, and that was like so terrifying, and so she's so sophisticated and lovely. And then Joss made me put my hair up, and I was going to kill him because he's like, your comfort zone lies in your hair, and I'm going to really mess you up. I'm like, what are you talking about? It doesn't. he like pinned my hair up, and I just felt so naked and startled and afraid. And then he made me do scenes with this amazing actress, and so it was like that terrifying, fun, scary, awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So you're like linked to Joss Whedon a lot with with Dollhouse.
We are linked.
Faith
yes.
and stuff like that, and you play a lot of strong, kick-ass women in a lot of these roles. Mm-hmm. And now that he's developing that new Shield show for ABC, I believe. Any
I hadn't heard of that.
Well, I have.
Oh, interesting.
And you know.
Just tell me more.
I don't know. Off the Avengers.
I promise you, if I had something to share, I would share it with you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Oh, I haven't heard, whoever the cake maker is who wanted to know what his favorite cake is, he hasn't texted me back yet, but I'll get you on Twitter. Does anyone else know what Joss's favorite kind of cake is? No? Yeah, me neither. He was going kind of low carb last time I saw him, though.
You started a TV show called True Calling, and you got one season, and where were they going?
Like 1 in 6 episodes.
Yeah, you were cheated out of your second season. Where were they going with it? But when they introduced
I mean, I know they brought the priest on, and they wanted the priest to be like the angel of death, and I was the angel of life, and they were planning a whole thing with that. But yeah,
was
then
that like
they got
a creative difference, or was it again like like too biblical or something?
I honestly, it was just one of those times where, I mean, that is how it normally works, where when you get canceled, they're like, and don't show up to work tomorrow, thanks, and they cut it off. With Dollhouse, it was great that they gave us the whole rest of the season to play it out and finish it off. But yeah, that one kind of got...
I liked it.
Thanks. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
I did too.
Thank you.
Why did you why did you choose to star in True Calling, and what was your favorite thing on set, or how was the set like?
Why did I choose? I really loved when I first read True Calling. It was actually called Heroine, like a female hero, not the other kind, and that apparently was too confusing for some people because we couldn't tell people we were going up to Vancouver to shoot heroin. So they renamed it True Calling, and it just, I don't know, I loved the ability for this character to, kind of change destiny or save people, because again, from my mom, I think there's always that desire to like save the world. And then what are favorite experiences from the set? Anything with Zach Galifianakis were my favorite and the worst experiences of my life because he's insane. Probably my favorite parts were watching him go to comedy clubs after work, and he would like bomb. Like a lot of Canadians did not get his humor, and he hadn't been in The Hangover, and he hadn't been anyone yet. So he would go to these comedy clubs, and I would sit in the back row, and he'd say, "Do you want to come to a club tonight and watch me bomb?" And I was like, "Yes, it's my favorite thing ever." So those were always really fun nights.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. So obviously, throughout the course of Buffy, Faith goes through a lot of changes and starts off sort of morally ambiguous and then becomes worse and then becomes better. So I was wondering what it was like to play.
Do it, girl. Go on.
So I was wondering what it was like to play so many different sort of across the spectrum of moral reasoning, and how you were able to keep the basis of who Faith was while making her both good.
I don't feel smart enough to answer this question. You're making me uncomfortable. No, you're awesome. It's a very good question. Wait, what was your question? How was it, or what? Well, what was it like playing all those?
Well, first of all, what was it like playing the different levels of moral reasoning, and then second of all, how were you able to keep the essence of the character while fluctuating the moral reasoning?
I think that, it just, anytime you get to layer your character with more than just one note, it's always just, it's exciting as an actor to get to play that. And sort of one of the things I love about working with Joss is like, you really like he doesn't tell you if you're going to be killed. He doesn't tell you if you're going to, like, where your character's going necessarily. So you're literally, like, reading every script. And I've said he's like a novelist, in my opinion. Like, it's like he rolls out these characters chapter after chapter. And every time you read the script, you're seeing sort of where your character's going, and you get to sort of digest it, but not for very long. And you just jump right in. And there's so much complexity, and there's so many different ways, but it made me just kind of love that crazy chick more and more, because she wasn't just, it wasn't black or white, you know, she wasn't just evil, she wasn't, you know, a bad girl or a good girl, she was all the different, you know, colors in between. And it was, to me, that's a really complex and awesome character.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. A+.
You've just said you do a lot of your own stunts. Has there ever been a stunt or a scene where you've put your foot down and went, I don't want to do this, or I don't want to do it this way, and recommended a change?
There hasn't really been stuff I didn't want to do. I've done things at times that I didn't do well, and I hurt myself or made a total fool of myself. I remember in the season finale of Dollhouse, there was like this epic scene, and there were 5 cameras, and there were 250 extras, and we all get off the truck, and I have like my gun, and I'm dressed all cool, and I have my gray streak in my hair, and I'm supposed to like round the corner, and it was literally like we had rehearsed it, and they had been misting rain all around, and I walked out, and I totally just like, my boot just slipped, and I went up, and I shot some guy by accident, and then landed on my cush, and it wasn't like no one saw. It was like it was on 5 cameras in front of 250 people, and I was the biggest loser of the day. And I broke my elbow, and I had to go to the emergency room, and then I was so embarrassed, I was like, I'm going back! I don't care! And we had to kind of shoot around my cast and sling for the rest of the episode.
Yeah. Well, thank you for telling us
hard
about
to be a
that
badass,
embarrassing
you know?
incident. Thank you.
The season 4 episode, Who Are You?, where you guys trade bodies. Mm-hmm. That episode is awesome.
Thank you.
And when I watch it, every time I watch it, I can't help but wonder how you and Sarah Michelle planned to do that. And I wanted to know if you could talk a little bit about how you guys did that, because you guys did awesome imitations of each other.
Thank you.
And because in my mind, I'm thinking you're going, now don't get offended if I do it like this. So how was it?
We didn't really talk to each other about it. We both just like got a bunch of tape and went in our trailers and we're like, yeah, gotcha. And then I don't know. We just I watched a lot of tape of her, and kind of watched how she did that like talking out of the side of her mouth thing, and Giles. And then she just like, you know, she was convinced that I say about, like the Bostonians sound Canadian when they say about. I don't
think so.
Get that, but she really rocked that. And then, she put on the leather pants and went and fooled around with her boyfriend and did all the stuff. And I loved that episode. It was fun to do.
It's like my favorite.
I think the crew had the most fun with it.
That's what was great about it. It was so fun to watch because you guys were having so much fun with it. So, and by that time, it had hit its stride. Awesome job, though.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you like kind of playing kind of going from the good guys to kind of like the bad guy, and then kind of like, I don't know, everybody started feeling bad for you, but then they still hated you, and then stuff like that. So
yeah, no, I liked it, and I could always tell what episode had aired based on the way people approached me on the street. They were either like, you're so awesome, or they were like, I hate you, who do you think you are? Coming into town, stealing Buffy's boyfriend and her friends. And so I could always tell from the fan response that, the character was moving people. It always depended on which direction. But again, just that kind of like going all around and hitting on different notes was one of my favorite things about that character. And I loved even when she was being really, really bad, and like torching people's faces. People were like, she's just misunderstood. And I'm like, yeah, like, she's not evil. I feel so bad for her. I'm like, wow.
She had a really rough life.
She had a really tough background. Yeah, man. She lived in a hotel and everything. Boston streets were hard on her. I'm like, she's killing people. And they're like, she's redemption, man.
She didn't have a Christmas.
Totally.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.